When you were actively managing money, you presumably were under the same pressures as other fund managers to show performance results.
Right.
Did that incline you to sell too quickly sometimes?
Well, I think my greatest mistakes are, it's funny, in a stock, all you can lose is 100%. I've done that. But your great mistakes is selling a good company, and then it doubles, then it triples, and it quadruples, because you make a lot of mistakes, and so those ones that go up tenfold, I call them the 10 baggers. So some of my mistakes are just saying, oh my God, this stock is too high, and I was wrong. And you had to figure out, what inning am I in this baseball game?
How are you guys doing? This is Ryan. Welcome back to the channel. Lately, I've been listening to a lot of Peter Lynch and been looking at my portfolio and really try to adopt more of his philosophies. I've recently read his book, One Up on Wall Street, and I gotta say, the guy is brilliant. He was able to drastically outperform the S&P 500 throughout his career, and by a huge margin, by averaging over 30% over a long period of time, is very difficult to do. And what he talks about in this interview I find so fascinating. The worst thing a stock can do is go to zero, which is really bad if that happens, but his biggest losses actually occurred when he sold the stock too early, and the stock went up 5 times, 10 times, 20 times. Selling a stock too early can really hurt you in opportunity cost, and your net worth could be a lot more if you held on to great companies or maybe took a little bit more risk in your portfolio. You have to be very careful with this, but I do want to look back at my portfolio and look over the past year and see what were my top 5 percentage gainers in my portfolio and how do I want to treat these investments moving forward. I gotta say, it's very difficult to make a lot of money on an investment and not sell it, or at least not take some profits. And I do tend to take profits because I believe it is somewhat responsible to do, and I would hate the idea to see all these paper gains eventually disappeared into no gains. So that's kind of what I do for myself. But if I feel like the investment is a great investment, I do keep a lot of money in there. And actually, usually when an investment has a large amount of gains, there's more profit to be had there. And your gainers from one year are unlikely to be your great gainers in the following year. What I'm trying to say is that the market is always changing. So anyways, that's the topic for today's video. Let's jump into it. Point out one thing in this interview that Peter Lynch really talked about on how companies really grow.
When should you sell?
Well, you ought to find out why you bought a stock. If you're saying it's a cyclical company and they're doing poorly and they're doing awful, you wait till things are getting better and they're doing terrific, and then you sell it. But with a growth company, you have to say, Walmart's case, 10 years after they went public, you could have bought the stock and made 500 times your money. Because they still are only in 15% of the United States. And they could say, why can't they go to 17? Why can't they go to 19? Why can't they go to 23? So for the next 4 decades, they went around the country. So you have to say to yourself, in this stock, I have a 10-year story, a 20-year story. You ought to be able to write that down and follow that. That's what I do with the company. And that's your decision. That's how you sell it.
So the earlier you can find an investment that has a lot of growth in front of it, the more money you're likely to make. And that's where I think Cathie Wood's really hit a home run with ARK Invest, really looking into disruptive innovation, companies that can really shape and evolve the way that we're gonna live moving forward. If you can catch this trend and buy it at a somewhat fair evaluation, and that can continue to grow, your net worth's gonna grow, the stock's gonna grow, the asset's gonna grow. So we'll start right there. My 5th largest gainer in my portfolio is actually an ETF called ARKG, managed by ARK Invest and Cathie Wood's. And I'm not gonna pretend to know everything about genomics, but what I do understand is that genomics is gonna change the way we deal with healthcare. I can't tell you exactly which company is gonna be the most disruptive and innovative. To me, it makes sense to treat the root cause of a disease rather than just the symptoms of a disease like we do now. And that we have drastically falling costs, that this is gonna be something that the consumer can actually get their hands on one day, made me have to jump into this investment. And so far I've had a return of 98.03%. It's a rather small position. The total position is a total market value of $2,872.80. My total return is $1,422.08. It's also great when you can find an investment that can make you money and also something you just really believe in, and that's like good for the world and humans as a species to live better, longer lives. That's really a win-win, and so far I'm super happy with the investment, and I'm super happy seeing breakthroughs that are occurring in genomics companies like CRISPR, Editas, Illumina. All these different companies have already done things like cured sickle cell anemia, and they're just overall better understanding the way genes work. Illumina, for example, is the company that can tell you what your background is. They can tell you where you came from because they can read your genes. It's truly incredible that this is like just a retail product that we can buy, and where the science goes from here, I'm really excited about. But that brings me to my 4th largest gainer, and that is not a stock, but that is actually Ethereum. Ethereum has given me a total return of 251.8%, which is pretty amazing. It slowly became a bigger position of mine. I did put a decent chunk of change in there. I actually recently just sold a little bit, which I talked about in my previous video talking all about cryptocurrency. If you want to check that out, I'll put a card here. But my total equity now is $16,980 into it. And I've made a net profit so far on paper of $12,148.99. I'm very bullish on cryptocurrency. I'm very excited about the idea of decentralizing pretty much everything, whether that's money or decentralized contracts. And just the more transparent we can make systems and human communication, I think it's gonna be better. I think blockchain is gonna solve a lot of issues, even in things like elections, with all this election fraud conversation going on. If everything was on the blockchain and not just in snail mail, this would have been a non-issue, but I won't get too deep into that. I am just super bullish on the decentralization, and I really am a big believer in the founder and creator of Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin. And if you want to hear me talk more about cryptocurrency, check out some of my previous videos. And my third largest percentage gainer is a company called Square Payment Services, led by Jack Dorsey, and I have a total percentage return of 263.79%. Pretty incredible. There's a lot of times when we pick these winners and we tell ourselves, we should have bought more of the stock. And Square is definitely that for me. I'll pull up my total gain percentage. It's one I wish I had more money in. And I really need to suck up the courage to again buying the stock again. You know, I'm looking for weakness in the market. Right now with how bullish everything is, I'm kind of just waiting right now. I'm really just waiting for this kind of euphoria that's going on right now just to calm down and some dust to settle. I'll let my positions run in value, and I just don't really like chasing stocks. Or at least I don't like chasing them up. I like to chase them down, but that may not happen for Square. But I have a total market value position in Square of $3,186 with a total return of $2,310.22, which means I put in like $700 into the stock. It's a great company. They're innovative, forward-thinking, agile. They see the crypto movement and they are adapting towards that, and they're really creating a whole ecosystem around all their payment services that they offer. And I think one day they could become like a huge internet world bank, and today's valuations will likely look cheap because of that, if they can achieve all that. All right, that brings me to my second largest position in my portfolio. And this is purely a speculative play. I talked about it once a long time on the channel. It's a company called Rafa Pharmaceutical. I have a percentage return of 271.43%. You know, my portfolio is over $230,000, and a lot of it is into ETFs, into blue chip stocks, and things like that. I think once you have somewhat of a mature portfolio, I own multiple pieces of real estate, I own businesses. There's nothing wrong with keeping a small piece of that for speculation, in my opinion. And guys, all of this is just sheerly my opinion, not to be taken as financial advice. But I speculated on this company called Rafa around 27 cents, and now it's trading around $1.60. It went up close to $3. I did sell some there and took some profit, but it is an OTC stock where you can't get a lot of information even on it. The company does seem cash heavy. They are operating in the other part of the world. They're not really well regulated, but people I knew were associated with the business, and they said, Ryan, I really think this thing has legs. They have these massive plans to grow throughout Asia and the European markets. They want to get on the NASDAQ. So I took a small percentage of my net worth and speculated into it, and it's worked out pretty well. I've made a lot more profit than this because I've sold some and taken profit, but on paper still right now I have a total net profit of $4,413.67, and my total position is $6,000. I know what I'm planning to do with this company moving forward, but I don't really want to endorse this type of behavior either, because I really don't want people to lose money on anything I'm doing. So I need to be careful with the platform I have. And so far I gotta say I'm pretty happy with the calls that I've done on this channel. It's literally just what I've been doing, and I've been able to make good returns. I don't know if that's likely to continue. I'm likely to make mistakes. So make sure you do your own research and due diligence and be responsible for your own actions, as I am with mine. I am not a professional. I am just someone that really enjoys growing my wealth, and so far it's worked out pretty well, especially on a public platform. But I do think investing is powerful, and I do want to empower people to do that and move in the right direction and move away from consumerism and build the life of abundance. That's the mission. But anyways, without further ado, drum roll please. If you've been following this channel for a long time, you probably know what the largest gainer is, and it should come to no surprise, but that is the one and the only Tesla Motor Company has returned me a total net profit percentage gain of 511.47%. Over 500% return, over 5x my money. And guys, it's probably higher than that. I have sold some of my Tesla stock. I have traded around my position, but it's been a fun ride. So I currently own 50 shares of Tesla. Has a total market value of $29,225, and of that, it's showing that $24,445.50 of that is actual profit. And like I said, there's more profit in there. And it really brings me back to the Peter Lynch quote. You know, I lost a lot of money by selling Tesla stock, but I don't really regret it. It's not like I went and gambled that money away and I changed my lifestyle and thought I was rich on Tesla stock. I'm not rich by any means, but it just goes to show the power of investing if you can find great companies and hold those companies and see through their vision and grow your net worth with them. Peter Lynch said in that interview that he regretted selling Toys R Us, too early, but eventually if he held on to Toys R Us forever, he would have lost all his money on it. There's definitely an argument to be made about taking profit. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and give it a thumbs up. That little thumbs up really helps this channel reach a bigger audience. This video was inspired by my friend Jason with JMac Investing. I just think it's fun to look back at your portfolio and really think, what is carrying it, and really just assess those positions on how you want to manage them moving forward. So let me know, what have been your guys' biggest portfolio gainers in your portfolio, and what do you think about my positions? Is there anything that you'd be taking more profit on in my portfolio and diversifying throughout it? If you guys also want to follow me on Instagram, I'll put my handle here, rgiffen89. I post there pretty much daily, so if you want to see more daily content of what I'm doing in the stock market or just goofy things with me and my family, be sure to check it out over there. And as always guys, I'll see you in my next one.